Timothy Taylor, Landlord.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is well and truly over the yard arm, and I've got another beer from Yorkshire. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden the People's Republic of Yorkshire is providing me with beer. This is the Timothy Taylor's Landlord. Not sure whether you've heard of this or tried it before, but I first tried this in a pub in Clerkenwell on draft, and it was amazing. And since then I've tried quite a few of the Timothy Taylor stuff, and they're a really good brewery. They're from the People's Republic of Yorkshire, and not sure if you're aware, but they are an independent state in the middle of the United Kingdom. They're not really, but they like to think they are. And they've got a life president by the name of Jeff Boycott, who basically is a dictator and hates everything that doesn't come from Yorkshire. But there you go. That might be true, that might not be true. But what I do know is that these are a really good brewery. And I've tried this so many times before, and I thought I'd reviewed it, and then I looked at the video that I did, and I'd had quite a few, and to be honest, it wasn't really broadcast worthy. There was too many effing and jeffing, as they say, up north. But I'm going to review it now. So let's stop gassing and let's see what this beer is about. Right, this is Timothy Taylor. It's from Yorkshire. Say what I like, and I like what I bloody well say. It's 4.1% classic pale ale. It is a 500ml bottle, and on the back of the label it says Landlord, the drinker's favourite. I should be reading this in a northern accent. The drinker's favourite and the classic pale ale with a complex citrus and hoppy aroma. Landlord was launched in 1952 and won more awards nationally than any other beer, including Cameron's Draft. Fucking hell, I didn't know that. It's won more awards nationally than any other beer, including Cameron Draft Supreme Champion Beer 4 times. That I did not know. How many times I've drunk bottles of this, I've never read the back of it. That is a fucking new one on me. I will say, I can see why it is a really good beer. Taylor's taste is achieved using the finest natural ingredients, a unique Knoll spring water, the highest grade premium promised malted barley, whole leaf hops, and our own Timothy Taylor yeast. Yeah, and to be honest, yeast can make or break a beer, and if they've got their own strains, then that's probably what's making it. So let's shut up gassing and let's start drinking. Right, there is the cap. It looks like a bushel of wheat or malt on there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's on most of the Timothy Taylor stuff. I've tried their Bolt Maker as well. That's a really good one. You see the reviews. I've actually reviewed that one. I was sober when I did that. Out the bottle, on the nose. Nice floral hoppy aroma. Very subtle malt. And not a lot else. Let's get it into the glass. Now they've got this down as a pale ale, and it's 4.1%. So this is easily sessionable. But believe me, I have sessioned this a few times. This is nice out of the bottle, but on draft it is even nicer. And it depends on your part of the country where you're from. I imagine they've got it in quite a few pubs up in Yorkshire. In London there's a select few, but I do know one in Clerkenwell, and for the life of me the name escapes me. It's just round the corner from a pub called, if you know Clerkenwell, it's round the corner from a pub called the Jerusalem. Well worth checking out. on the nose, out of the glass. Yeah, more of the same. Lovely floral hoppy aromas. They're very subtle though. Let's get it down the hatch. Cheers. Now to me, this is what a pale ale, a British pale ale, should taste like. Very well balanced. Mixture of hoppy British hops and subtle biscuit malt. All balanced, so you're getting both in the mouth, both on the aftertaste as well. And that's what I'm getting here. And this is chilled. It's come out of the fridge and I let it stand for a bit. Really nice and really drinkable as well. I mean, you know, you talk about in this warm weather that we've got now, you know, light and refreshing beers. This is definitely one of them. So if you're not a fan of lager, this is a really good substitute, and it's 4.1%. So you could drink bottles of that and you wouldn't be falling over like you would be with some of the lagers that are out there. It's really nice. It's got a lovely flavour. There's typically British hops, earthy, bit of spice, slight floral notes on it as well. But the malt then kicks in and you've got like a biscuit and caramel malt going on there. You know, 50-50 between the two. But the whole lot is just perfectly balanced. And it just goes down so smoothly. It is really nice. And it's like an old school pale ale. You know, I was corresponding with someone today online about the you know, the state of British beers, and we were agreeing basically that there's very few that do traditional British IPAs. Very few people are doing traditional pale ales as well. But this is one of them. And you know, years ago in the 70s, you'd get like Watney's Pale Ale and Bass done a Pale Ale as well. You don't see them about now. And they seem to have died out, but Timothy Taylor are doing quite a reputable one. British Pale Ales, typically very balanced, very light, low ABV, usually meant for mixing with other beers, you know, lagers or bitters. You know, up north you'd have your light and bitters, down south you'd have your light and lagers. And you know, I've said this 1,000 times, you know, the reason people bought it was because you was just getting, you know, when they filled up the pint glass, you were getting just over half, and then you were getting a half pint, so technically you were getting a pint and a quarter. And if you really had a really generous landlord, you'd get like a third of a pint. You know, and you top that up with your pale ale and you drink it, and it would last longer. Your money would go further. Everyone was skint back then, you know. I tell people this now and they call me Uncle Albert. But there you go. Anyway, but this stuff is brilliant. Really nice. So what's the verdict? Well, I've reviewed this once before and I gave it a 10 out of 10 because it was brilliant. And I remember when I first tasted it, I thought this is a brilliant beer, and my opinion has not changed. This is an absolutely fantastic British pale ale, which you can drink on its own, or you can mix it with your bitter, as I say, or your lager. And it's just one of them beers that, you know, it's a blast from the past. A traditional British pale ale, as it says, they say classic pale ale, but it's British pale ale. You know, nowadays people talk about pale ale and you're talking like American, full of like hoppy, grape, citrusy and fruity hops. None of that there. It's typical British hops, earth, spice, floral notes. Then you've got your caramel and your biscuit malt on that, all in perfect balance and all together making a fantastic pale ale, traditional British pale ale. I'd give that 10 out of 10. for me, that is, you know, that's keeping the British tradition alive of pale ale, because it was invented in the United Kingdom, you know, and it's, I think some people are thinking, you know, oh, it's an American thing. It's not. Pale ale, most beers are British. There's very few beers that are, you know, uniquely American. You're right, you talk about your West Coast and your East Coast IPAs, they've all got their roots in British beer. And porters and your stouts, again, British, despite what the Irish like to tell you, stout and porter comes from the United Kingdom. Yeah, so that for me is a 10 out of 10. Recommend it. You can get it in Morrison's. I think they do it in Tesco's, I'm not sure. Definitely do it in Morrison's. Most supermarkets do it. And, you know, it depends where you are geographically. Obviously, I imagine in Yorkshire you can get that almost anywhere. But down here, most of the supermarkets carry it because it is a good beer. And that is a 10 out of 10. And remember, beer is working class champagne.